Good evening. Mike Montalto with Costa Engineering, here this evening on behalf of Charlie Fox and Blackwood Management. Charlie couldn't be here this evening as his father, Dick Fox, has recently passed, and the family's in Florida for the personal arrangements associated with that. He apologizes for not being able to make this evening's scheduled meeting. Should the board look favorably on, to move this toward recommendation for a planning board to review, knowing that there would be no action formally taken this evening, the Foxes would be here in subsequent meetings to answer any operational questions the board may have. As Supervisor Nesmith indicated, the primary objective here by using the PDD overlay district on these 26 acres of property, which is currently 4 parcels of land on the southeast corner of Shoecraft and Ridge Road, is to allow for flexibility in a comprehensive development plan. A number of years ago when we built the Rite Aid and when the Wendy's was built, we did some managed access plans. We started the first part of that whole comprehensive management and access and some of the primary objectives of PDD in terms of how the accesses work to Shoecraft, how they work to Ridge Road, how we coordinated access to the east with Dr. Tingley's property, how we eliminated some curb cuts on Ridge Road and managed that. This now allows us to create a comprehensive plan for how the remaining 22 approximately of the 26 acres could be developed without, as Supervisor Nesmith indicated, breaking these off into individual parcels. Each one of the folks who build now, their financing and mortgages want that building, whether it's the LA Fitness building, which is under, also is in part of that town center. It has its separate financing, so that creates different lots with the needs for breaking up these parcels, but still having this be a comprehensive plan. If we were to put a use here and only put, have this in separate financing, then it encumbers it with a whole lot of different setbacks, individual parking rather than sharing them. The shared parking allows us to reduce things beyond the density. The underlying zoning district here requires approximately 33% green space. The comprehensive plan that we've developed here actually yields about 43% green space. So almost 2.6 or 3 acres of additional green space by looking at this as an overall comprehensive plan. What this allows us to do is it also gives us some flexibility in terms of dealing with prospective users. The Fox family has owned the property for a number of years. There's been a lot of dialogue with people about different uses. With it being 22 acres, it has brought more regional type use, different traffic generations. This plan allows us, I think, to look at the overall underlying zoning, what the permitted uses are, promote the senior living component, smaller retail and service businesses that would then kind of surround or focus around the senior living, and bring a different component, which is a storage, but it's climate controlled. It's not the mini storage with individual warehouse, garage doors or whatever, but it allows that should a family member transition to senior, to a senior managed care type living arrangement, that you've got an opportunity to potentially store family items or whatever while transitioning parents into an area and have it still be regional or community-based. So that recognizing that as people get older, things happen or whatever, things change, that and this is based on, we've had a number of dialogue. We have 2 users of the proposed uses who are in dialogue with the Foxes relative to the senior component and the storage unit. We don't have signed agreements with anybody. I think currently some of them are waiting to see how the overlay district portion comes, because if it doesn't go that route, then it would have to be conventional subdivided lots, breaking it apart. We lose some of the comprehensive ability to do this as kind of a managed plan. So I think, you know, what this plan represents is exactly the canons that are listed under the PDD of developing. How can this be done? How are utilities, access points managed, but still allow flexibility? This building size could change, parking configuration could change, but still work within an overall plan for the 26 acres. How does it meet density? How does it meet setbacks? How does it meet parking? All of the canons that, you know, that are specifically enumerated as to what's the purpose of the PDD overlay district. None of the uses that we're proposing at this point, you know, are outside of the uses listed as being allowable in the underlying zoning districts. We're not looking for any increase in density. We're primarily looking for the flexibility, and it allows us to develop a more comprehensive plan that, should there be minor changes in terms of who the users are as we progress, that it allows that flexibility so that we truly can get this beyond just dialogue with people who are, how many acres in there, what can I fit on it, to how, you know, how can this be? And again, the interest has been that the individual owners want to be able to finance a certain amount of that portion of the development for their building, not be encumbered by the construction loan of somebody else. This is, you know, a result of, you know, the banking industry in the last few years or whatever, to where, you know, the changes in that industry are, and what this allows is that, you know, this building could get built without it having to worry about what loans are out on, you know, the Wendy's building, and what, you know, what their finances do. So it helps promote the development and the viability long-term in terms of what happens, so that it's not burdening the, you know, the entire property. At this point, I guess I complete, you know, my formal presentation. You know, like I said, there's 4 lots, it's 26 acres approximately of land. You know, we have a number of uses that are primarily, you know, proposed in, you know, they're all figures. What's on the plan here, the lighter green areas of what's already developed. The darker areas are, you know, what are the future uses that we're proposing. You know, the senior living is approximately a 50,000 square foot component it alone. And then we've got, you know, in terms of proposed retail / potential restaurant use. Just find that page in my notes so I can tell you what the total square footage that we're proposing there is. Bear with me. We've got approximately 49,000 in retail. We've got 51,000 in senior living. The climate-controlled storage, as it's shown on the plan now, represents approximately 71,000 square feet. The climate-controlled storage and the senior living component are based on discussions that the Foxes have actually had with users and footprints that they've provided. The retail buildings, especially the out parcels, are based on, you know, our experience relative to what national and what regional, you know, restaurant use built, you know, type sizes are, and multi-tenant, you know, retail as well. So.
Wasn't at the last meeting, does the road off of Shoecraft extend to the property line?
It extends to the eye doctor's property, and we would have to, you know, the eye doctor's property has been subdivided off. We'd have to, you know, and we've agreed to work with town staff and Dr. Tingley relative to making sure that the connection further east is viable. But through our property, it does go all the way around, and the question becomes, if it needs to come down, you know, and not through Dr. Tingley, but we're agreeable. That's consistent with all the dialogue, you know, we've had to date. This allows us to have reciprocal easement agreements for parking, utilities, all the rest of it, without the need for, you know, this. Typically, we would come and say, hey, you know, if this is connecting and serving other parts of the town, would this be dedicated? You know, in this case, with the PDD overlay, that's one of the things that it affords is, you know, we're not looking, the exception of sanitary sewer, all, all the utilities